Let me thank Ms. Sahana Kumaraswamy for this very comprehensive and interesting hands-on talk on bridging the academia and industry skill gap. On behalf of the family of CEED, I request Professor Sudhakar, Chairman of the GC of CEED, to hand over a token of appreciation to Ms. Sahana Kumaraswamy. Thank you, ma'am. We will begin the next presentation momentarily. Our speaker is already here. We will set up. Let me introduce Dr. Raghavendra P S. Dr. Raghavendra P S is a multifaceted professional who combines expertise in education, training, and social impact. Currently serving as the founder and CEO of Chisel Craft and director of C-Square Industrial Automation, he brings over 2 decades of experience in training, coaching, and educational consultancy. His academic excellence is marked by notable achievements, including ranking 3rd in the MEd from Bangalore University and winning the prestigious Professor D.M. Nanjundappa Endowment Award during his PhD studies. As a Niti Aayog Mentor of Change and an international corporate trainer, he has made remarkable contribution to education and professional development. Dr. Raghavendra is also the architect of innovative programs like Vistara and Exam Warrior, which are designed to enhance educational excellence and student performance. He has authored several books, including Happitude, Decoding Happiness, and 9 Laws of Successful Engineering. His expertise spans multiple domains, from educational psychology to business excellence coaching, and has been recognized with numerous awards, including the Rotary Ratna Vocational Excellence Award. Join me in welcoming Dr. Raghavendra P S. Over to you, sir.
I stand as a villain now. Okay. Gnananandamayam devam nirmalas patikakrutim adharam sarva vidyanam hayagrivam upasmahe shruti smruti purananam alayam karunalayam namami bhagavat padam shankaram lokashankaram. Let me bow to the lotus feet of Hayagriva, who is the sole proprietor of all the knowledge in this world, and Goddess Saraswati, being the in-charge portfolio minister, and all the gurus in the Guru Parampara, starting from Adi Guru Shankaracharya. I would like to place on record my sincere appreciation and gratitude to CES and CEED for this wonderful initiative, and thanks in particular to Mr. Prakash, who was very instrumental in connecting me to this particular forum. My pedigree, besides the introduction, includes I have worked for over 2 decades in the teacher education segment, training at least 3,000 teachers to be nation builders. And I have done a number of programs on faculty development for some of the prestigious institutions like GTTC, All Centers, and Jyoti Institute of Technology. The theme that I have selected for today's discussion with you is DISHA, which is a model that I have invented for anybody to become an excellent version of a teacher, irrespective of the subjects that you teach. Let me just present the backdrop, the ground reality, because without the understanding of how big or how small the domain is, such initiatives become futile. There are 8,264 institutions in the technical education domain. Of course, there is a significant decrease from 2017-18 till date. This data pertains to 2023-24. which includes 25 central universities, 16 deemed universities government, 16 private deemed universities, 116, 207 state government universities, 93 state private universities, which is actually on the increase, 1,746 government colleges, which again is on the increase, 254 government aided colleges, which is actually a decline of around 40 institutions over the last 5-6 years. 5,808 private self-financed institutions. Of course, the number is actually dwindling of late. Approximately 12 lakh students study in engineering colleges per annum. And as per the latest data from AICT, which I have picked up from, there are 1,27,296 technical teachers serving the technical education domain. This is the backdrop that we need to be very aware of. I would like to quote here 3 significant research studies. First and foremost, the 2005 McKinsey and NASSCOM study, which says 75% of the engineering students are not employable. This is in continuation of the previous speaker, but of course I would dwell upon something else. Another study conducted in 2011 by the World Bank titled Employability and Skills Set of Newly Graduated Engineers in India very clearly establishes that though employers are hiring them, over 64% of the employers interviewed were not happy with the recruits. They recruited because there was no other go, but it was not the ideal recruitment that they would have loved. And the economic survey of 2023-24 presented in the Parliament of India last year very clearly states that 51.25% of the Indian graduates are deemed employable. This is the official data. Very glaring contrasts and glaring realities. That means, despite our honest efforts, nearly half of our output don't deserve to be in the job market on various grounds, be it the technical domain, be it the soft skill domain, be it the other aspects of employability. Now, how do we connect this to the teacher's role? Before that, it's extremely important that as a researcher, as a teacher, I would always like to have the conceptual clarity. Today's session is, this conclave's focus is on excellence in technical training, right? So what is excellence? Have we clearly defined what excellence is? Especially in the last decade or so, this is the most used word, perhaps misused and abused word. What is excellence ultimately? You want this to be one way, or I never do one-way sessions. I want this to be a kind of a dialogue. What is excellence according to us? Of course, you can read it from the screen. I don't mind.
Being proficient in the present-day technology in that particular domain.
Okay. Utkrushtata we call in Sanskrit. What is Utkrishtate? Shreshtate. Being exceptionally good. That means incomparable. Another word which we can use from the mother of most languages, Sanskrit, is Anupama. You can't compare that with the rest. So being exceptionally good is what is called excellence. And what is training? No, but what is training? How do we define training? What's the difference between teaching and training? Are we teachers or are we trainers? Are they one and the same? So what is training then?
Training is a systematic way in doing a particular task.
Okay. Teaching? Unsystematic way.
Need not be doing. Teaching is I deliver it, but I'm not sure whether the other side is good with my delivery. Training is basically required to advance technology aspects.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
Training needs hands-on skill.
And teaching is hands-off.
Fundamentals. Teaching is something related to cognitive ability as well.
Okay.
But training need not be related to cognitive. It could be a repetitive task.
Okay. Okay.
Training is basically required to make someone more excellent.
So can training happen without teaching? Competency. Somebody said, the clue is there. Skill is nothing but unconscious competency. Because when you want to pick up a new trait, new skill, new practice, which you have not heard of, initially you start with unconscious incompetency. That means you don't know that such a skill exists and you don't have that skill. That's the first point. The second stage is where you become conscious of your incompetency. For example, you don't know how to swim and you don't want to swim also. You start with unconscious incompetency. You don't know how to swim and you don't want to swim as well. The day you realize that you want to acquire the skill of swimming, you still don't have the skill, you move to the second quadrant, which is called conscious incompetency. You are conscious about, but you don't have the competency. Then you start getting into the practice, and in the whole process of picking up that skill, you end up in the third domain called conscious competency. You are developing the competency, and you are actually developing that competency basically from the conscious part of your mind. And once it becomes ingrained into your subconscious mind, it becomes a skill. So skill basically is unconscious competency. You are not very conscious of your competency. Suppose that you are riding a vehicle, you are driving a car. You don't look for which is the gear, which is the accelerator, which is the clutch, which is the horn. Consciously, automatically you deliver that stuff, right? If somebody comes in between, automatically the legs will shift from this pedal to that pedal. You don't do it consciously, you do it unconsciously. Skill basically is performing at the unconscious level. And in that, you have to be exceptionally good. That's what we mean by exceptional in training. So are we aware of this conceptual clarity? Basically, when you train, you basically give skill. Training is for skill. Teaching is for knowledge. That's the basic difference. What do we see here? So how do we decode excellence now? I know most of us have studied in our high school science, especially biology. How does an unattractive egg becomes the most attractive butterfly? ಅನಾಕರ್ಷಕವಾದ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆಯೊಂದು ಅತ್ಯಾಕರ್ಷಕವಾದ ಚಿಟ್ಟೆಯಾಗಿ ಬದಲಾಗೋದು ಹೇಗೆ? ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಮೆಟಾಮಾರ್ಫೋಸಿಸ್. ರೂಪಾಂತರ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಈಸಿ ಅಫೇರ್? It's a very painful affair. But does it stop the butterfly from embracing that change? In fact, when it wants to come out of the pupa, one fellow with a lot of humanity, sensitivity, wanted to help the butterfly come out of the pupa. Okay? There is a process involved. It has to go through that process. That life cycle has to get over. But this fellow was so oversensitive that he pulled the young butterfly out of the pupa. And he did not fly at all. Because it is in the process of that toil, struggle, that butterfly develops the strength to fly. So achieving excellence is nothing but metamorphosis. It's not an easy task. Is it impossible? No. Is it easily possible? No. And why do we need to achieve excellence? So excellence in my analysis is basically a sum total of mindset, performance and impact. What is your mindset? How do you perform? And ultimately, what's the impact you are generating? If you neglect any one dimension among these three, excellence goes for a toss. So with this conceptual clarity, let me understand the ground reality. Let me make you understand the ground reality. How many of you have become, I was told that, all of you are the engineering college lecturers. How many of you have become lecturers by choice? Superb. My salutes to you. To every question I ask, there are two answers possible. One is a correct answer, other one is a honest answer. I only want honest answers. So some of us have come to this profession by choice. Many of us have come to this profession by chance. And a majority of us have come to this profession by compulsions of life, including this fellow. My brother's Shadyantra conspiracy I joined the teaching profession. I never wanted to become a teacher. So the ground reality is becoming an engineering college lecturer or a technical teacher is not by choice in everybody's case. Ground reality 1. Viparyasa 2. How many of you want your biological children to emulate you to become engineering college lecturers? Anybody? Thank you so much for validating my research finding. Less than 2%. Now ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದ ಸಾಕು. Correct? I'm a hardcore researcher, social science researcher. So I build my theory, my models purely based on the ground reality. So less than 2% of the staff working today want their own children to consider this as a career choice. Okay, third most important question. How many of your students want to become teachers like you? They don't even want to take up their masters. But the tragedy is, every day, every single year, new faculty members are coming, they are joining the workforce. So, the issues that we need to talk about before we actually decode excellence in technical training or teaching per se is basically, is it our purpose? How many of us are here in this profession by purpose? How many of us have a perfect alignment of my life's purpose with my occupational selection? So how do you expect excellence there? It doesn't come. Second, I don't have the pride at all. Whether your children will eventually select this profession or not does not matter. Do you suggest that this is a wonderful profession? Second, glaring contrast. And third, how impactful are we? Because the role of a teacher is not transacting the knowledge. There are two types of interactions that happen in any domain. One is a transaction, other one is a transformation. I have 10 rupees, you are selling a pen, I give my 10 rupees to you, you sell your pen to me, you got 10 rupees, I got the pen I wanted, I lost 10 rupees, you lost the pen. That is transaction. Because in transaction, both give, both lose. I'm sure most of you have been teaching at least for over 5 years or so. What have you lost? You haven't lost anything. But every day you are actually giving. न चोरहार्यं न चराजहार्यं न भ्रातृभाज्ये न च भाराकारी व्यये कृते वर्धत एव नित्यं विद्याधनात् सर्वधनात् प्रदानम. Nobody can steal, nobody can loot, no foreign invader can take away our bauddhika sampattu. Brothers cannot divide. They can divide father's properties, they can divide the parents also. They can't divide the samskaras, the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge. And it is not heavy. The more it is, the lighter you feel. Vyaye krite vardhata eva nityam. The more you spend, the more you get. Tell me any other currency which has this character. So are we aware of this particular dimension of the profession that we are into? So I don't care whether you came to this profession by choice, chance or compulsion, but I want you to sit tonight and find out 5 reasons why you want to continue from tomorrow. And if you don't know the fifth reason, don't continue. Please vacate. It's neither good for you, nor good for the industry, definitely not good for the country. Okay. 3 glaring contrasts. I'm sure most of us have our favorite teachers, right? At least at different levels. If not many, at least one. So who do we remember? Why do we remember them? Why are they our most favorite teachers?
Because along with the teaching, they teach values.
Okay.
Few of them try to inculcate the values.
Superb answer. Any other?
Simplicity along with the
persona, right? None of these teachers have become our favorite teachers for the knowledge they transacted. Because knowledge is neutrals, my dear. Whether you teach or I teach, the knowledge is same. When was Akbar born? It's not different for you and for me. Why did the British, leave India? It's not different for you and me. But how did you teach that concept? So we remember our teachers not for the content they transacted, but for the way they transacted the content, number one, and perhaps the way they influenced me, my thought process, my behavior, my outlook, how they treated me as a human being. Only these two reasons to become an impactful teacher and achieve excellence. Not the content, because content can become obsolete. When I wrote my 10th standard examination, eventually became the district topper, we had 9 planets in the solar system. Today? Then you take away 1 mark, no? The technologies can become obsolete, but the teaching will never. The technology of teaching, the technology of training will never become an obsolete skill set. Embrace that alongside your regular technologies. And what are the characteristics of a great teacher if we look at? We all have our own perspectives, perceptions about who are they actually who influenced us. But the fundamental question that I want to raise here is every teacher, is every trainer impactful? Why? Are we impactful every day? Every period? Every batch? For every student? So what causes impact then? Because if you go back to what I actually covered, excellence has 3 components. One is the mindset, second one is the performance, and third one is the impact. You may have excellent mindset, you might have delivered a great performance, but if it doesn't impact, if it doesn't actually eventually lead to the impact that the organization, the society is foreseeing, then it is not excellence. Okay, you are causing the impact, but there is no performance. Then it is not excellence. There is a performance, there is impact, but you don't carry the proper mindset. Then it is not impact. Only when there is a harmony across these 3 dimensions called mindset, performance, and impact would we have anything which the name excellence in the process. So what causes impact? How do we define impact, basically? Because we are all technical trainers. Right? How do you define impact? No, performance is what I do. Impact is what happens because of my performance. Correct? If my performance is bad, chances are that you actually start smelling the fragrances very early. If my performance is good, I don't think you would bother to look at the watch. So what causes impact then? There are basically 2 dimensions of impact. Can you please look at these pictures, real-time pictures, not created through artificial intelligence? What do you see here? Top one, deviations. What do you see there? Is the work completed? Yes. Is the work completed? Yes. In all the 4 instances, the work is completed. But is it giving the intended impact? So once you actually install those poles, the train is supposed to run on track. That's the impact we want, right? Can it run? Can we travel? I think next Olympics, high jump, long jump will happen on this ground. And look at this. Where is the entrance to the staircase? Now even the owner has to jump the compound wall. And anybody who jumps the compound wall is not called the owner, he is called a thief. Godehararna ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. And look there. The task was actually to mark the borders of the road. A small dead branch is lying there. And look at the perfection. ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಒಂದೋ ಎತ್ತಿ ಪಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಟೂ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅದರ್ಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್, ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ದಟ್, Draw and keep it back. I don't mind. Is it causing the impact that we want? So which are the two components of impact? Only two. We call it productivity, right? How is productivity determined? Only two yardsticks. Efficiency, effectiveness. What is efficiency? ಕ್ಷಮತೆ ಅಥವಾ ದಕ್ಷತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪರಿಣಾಮಕಾರಿತ್ವ. ಅದ್ಭುತ ಪದಗಳು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. ಕ್ಷಮತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ದಕ್ಷತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? Effort is there in both. Sir, very simple, sir. Which bike you use? ಯಾಕೆ ಸರ್? ಮೈಲೇಜ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ. ನಾನು ಅವೆಂಜರ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್, ಮೈಲೇಜ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. I don't want efficiency, I want effectiveness. People may go for efficiency, nothing wrong. So there are two components which actually constitute impact. First one is efficiency, second one is effectiveness. What is efficiency? My slides will always give you some prompts. Doing the right things. I'll relate it to our roles very soon. Conceptual clarity ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡೋಣ. Efficiency is basically doing the right things. What is effectiveness then? Doing right way. Doing the things right way. Then what is impact now? ಯಾವ ಕ್ವಾಡ್ರಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು ಹಾಗಾದರೆ? How many possibilities of people being in different quadrants do we have? How many types of people we have? How many types of professionals we have? Only 4 categories, sir. Whole world can be divided into 4 communities. ಇದರ ಆಚೆಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಕ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆನ್ಸಸ್. The first one, efficiency is low, effectiveness also is low. ಸರಿಯಾದ್ದು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಸರಿಯಾಗೂ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. DP ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ ನಾನು, ದಂಡಪಿಂಡಗಳು. ತಮಿಳಿನಲ್ಲಿ DC ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ದಂಡಚ್ಚೋರು. ನ ಕರುಂಗ ನ ಕರ್ನೆದುಂಗ. ಇದಾರ ನಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ? ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟಾಗಿ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ವಾಯ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಫೋಟೋಗಳು ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ನೋ. ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ, ಹೈಲಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್. ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚಾತುರ್ಮಾಸ್ಯ ನಮ್ಮದು. ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಐ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಚಾತುರ್ಮಾಸ್ಯ. ಟ್ರೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರು ಸೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಮದು, ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಗಳು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ. ಚಾತುರ್ಮಾಸ್ಯ 3 ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸಾಕಿದ್ವಿ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ಸು. ಹೈಲಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯೆಂಟು. ರಿಸಲ್ಟು ಆ ಒಕ್ಕಟಿ ಅಡಕ್ಕು. ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ 1 ರೇಸರ್ಸ್. ದಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್, ಹೈಲಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯೆಂಟ್, ಹೈಲಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್. 2 ವರ್ಷ ಬೇಕು ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ, 1 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಹೈಲಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಈಸ್ ಲೋ. 1 ಲೀಟ್ರ್ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ಗೆ 5 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ಗಾಡಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, 3 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಹೈಲಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್. ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಕೇಳಬೇಡಿ. ಐಡಿಯಲಿ ವೇರ್ ಶುಡ್ ವಿ ಬಿ? ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ದ ವೇ ಟು ಅಚೀವ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆನ್ಸ್? ಡೂ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ದ ರೈಟ್ ವೇ. ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಸರ್, ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ಗೆ ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇದನ್ನು, ಬೇರೆ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಬೇಡ. ನಮ್ಮದು ಇಡೀ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿದು ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. 51.5% ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ರಾಜ್ಯುಯೇಟ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಈಸ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಆರ್ ವಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್? ಆರ್ ವಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್? ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನ್ನೇ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇಂಟೇಕು ವರ್ಸಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಎನ್ರೋಲ್ಮೆಂಟು. ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಆ ಡೇಟಾ ತೋರಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ. Karnataka is much better. Let's all clap for our state, basically because ಈ ರೇಷಿಯೋ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಂಟೇಕ್ ವರ್ಸಸ್ ಎನ್ರೋಲ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಟು ದಿ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ಟಾಪರ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್. ಉತ್ತರ ಪ್ರದೇಶ, ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಡೇಟಾ ನೀವು ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಲಾವ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೆಸ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 60%. ಸೊ ವೇರ್ ಶುಡ್ ವಿ ಬಿ ಇಫ್ ವಿ ರಿಯಲಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸೆಲ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್? ವಿಚ್ ಕ್ವಾಡ್ರಂಟ್? ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ರಾತ್ರಿ ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಕ್ವಾಡ್ರಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವೇ ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನ್ನು, ಯಾವುದು? ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಮತ್ತು ಎಕ್ಸಲೆನ್ಸು. ಇನ್ನೆರಡು ವಿಲನ್ಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಧ್ಯ. Rather, two other resources we have. A combination of these two resources will give you another categorization of where we are. First one is a skill, second one is a will. First one is a skill, second one is the will. ಈ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ we again have 4 categories. Again, DP, DCRO, no skill, no will. ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಲು ಇಲ್ಲ, ವಿಲ್ಲು ಇಲ್ಲ, ವಿಲ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದೆ. ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವಿಲ್. ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್. ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಕಲಿಯೋ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, ಕಲಿಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? ದಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ ಬನ್ನಿ, ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಇದೆ, ವಿಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಡಿಟರ್ಮಿನ್ಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಇನ್ ಲೈಫ್? ವಾಟ್ ಡಿಟರ್ಮಿನ್ಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಆಲ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಲೈಫ್? Aptitude or attitude? Always the attitude, sir. The best example being, who is the best cricketer that this world has ever seen? Next to Bradman anta heltare. Bradman now nodilla. Who is called the god of cricket? Who was his classmate who created a world record along with him for the highest partnership in Scaffolds? Yeah, Vinod Kambli. You ask any cricket pundit with decent cricketing brain, who was a better cricketer? Kambli. Who took Shane Warne to pieces first time in the history? Kambli. But who is called the god of cricket? Why? Basically mindset, attitude, nothing else. Because even after winning the 2011 World Cup one day, next day he was there for the nets. It's not your aptitude. It's basically your attitude which is going to determine the altitude to which you can grow in your life. Let's work on the attitude first. Therefore, the mindset is the pillar of excellence. Where we should be ultimately. You can't excel if you are not in the 4th category. You can't excel if you are not in the 4th category of the previous classification. We should always be in high efficiency, high effectiveness domain, and we should always be in skill, will domain. Among the 4 possibilities. Only then it is possible to excel. This is a model that I invented nearly 13 years ago for anybody to become an impactful teacher, no matter which level you teach, no matter which subject you teach, no matter whether you came to this profession by choice, chance, or compulsion. And trust me, this model is invented by somebody who became an accidental teacher. I never wanted to become a teacher and die as a teacher. But today I am very proud that I'll die very happily as a teacher. It's just that shift that you need to engineer. So what actually causes impactful teaching, excellence in teaching? There are basically 8 dimensions, 4 major directions, 4 minor directions. ನಾವು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಸ್ಕೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ಶಾನ್ಭೋಗ್ರು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಲಿಸಿದ್ರು ಚಿಕ್ಕನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಡೀಡ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ, ಚೆಕ್ ಬಂದಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Your property is a legal property only if it has definite check bandi. So which is the check bandi for an impactful teacher, an excellent teacher? Anta nodidaga I discovered 4 major directions and 4 minor directions. The first 4 major directions are, first one is content mastery. Why content mastery? You should know much more than what you teach, sir. Because your students already know what you are going to teach. Today, content is not a problem. It is open source. 250 ರೂಪಾಯಿದು ಸಿಮ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ಸು, 10,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿಂದು ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಫೋನ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ, ವಿಚ್ ಕಾಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್? ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ. You need to be a master of your content. Only then you command the respect of your students. If you don't command the respect of your students, trust me, you can't transform them. Why? Who is actually controlling the solar system? ಡೌಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ? ಡಾಟರ್ಸ್ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸನ್ನೆ. ಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸೋಲಾರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ವೈ? ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಗ್ರಾವಿಟಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟಿಗೆ? ಗುರುತ್ವ. ಆಕರ್ಷಣೆ ಈಸ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಕರ್ಷಣೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಗುರುತ್ವ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಗುರುತ್ವ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು ಅಷ್ಟು ಗುರುತ್ವ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ? ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟಿ? Mass, sir. Comparatively, it has huge mass. Correct? And why is it also controlling the whole solar system? Why do we pray Surya? ಮೊನ್ನೆ ತಾನೇ ಫಿಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಶಿವರಾಜ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ದು. Because I also come that field. I belong to the entertainment industry with 5 serials and 2 movies to my credit. Right? ಯಾಕೆ ಸನ್ನನ್ನು ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? He is burning himself to keep us alive. You know, when your students will pray you, you need to burn yourself. To be able to burn yourself, you should have huge mass. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಕರ್ಗೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರಾಗಿ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸು, ಚುಪಾರುಸ್ತುಮ್ಗಳು, ನಮ್ಮ ಟೀಚರ್ಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮೀಟ್ರೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ನಾವು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ತಾನೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. The mass for a teacher is the wealth of content that you need to have at your disposal. Only then you stand a chance of taking care of the first direction of your samrajya. The second major direction is content delivery. Trust me, you are teaching everything to a mind which is a rascal. What's the span of attention today? ಇದು ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂದರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬೆರಳು ಎಷ್ಟು ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆಂಟಾಗಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್. ಫಿಂಗರೋಬಿಕ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಡೌನ್. ವೆನ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಯಿಂಗ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಯಿಂಗ್, ವೆನ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಡೇಸ್, ದ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ 40 years. ಟುಡೇ ನಡುವೆ ಅಂತರವಿರಲಿ ಅಂತ 4 ವರ್ಷ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಮಗುನ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಟು 2 generations. 2G ಫಾದರ್ ನೀವು. 8 ವರ್ಷ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ 3G ಫಾದರ್. 5G ಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡಿ. ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕಾಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಡೆಲಿವರಿ. ನೋ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಕಾಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್, ಯುವರ್ ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ಎ ಹ್ಯೂಜ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್. I laugh at people who say mine is a very boring subject. The subject is not boring, sir. You are boring. Your heart is not there in the subject. You have not worked on your delivery. Delivery is the key, not the content. Content is no longer the king. Correct? ಯಾವುದೇ ಜ್ಯೋತಿಷಿ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋದ್ರೂ ಅದೇ ಮನೆಗಳೇ 9 ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಹಾಕೋದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ 12,000 ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬರೀ 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ಸರ್. ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೆರಿಗೆ ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಹೆರಿಗೆನೇ ಮಾಡಿಸೋದು. ಅಲ್ಯಾಕೆ 50,000 ಕಟ್ತೀರಾ? Cloud 9 ಏನು ಮೋಡಕ್ಕೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರಾ? Got the point? It's not the content anymore. It's how you deliver the content, how you transact the content which makes a huge difference. Third one is your persona. ನಿಮ್ಮ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಏನು? ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವವೇ ಇಲ್ದಿರ ಗುರುತ್ವ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಗುರುತ್ವ ಇಲ್ದಿರ ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವವನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. And the fourth major direction is your managerial skills, not your institution management. It's all about you. How good are you as a manager? What are the things that we need to manage? ಏನೇನು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್, punctuality. Punctuality or punctuality? We mostly manage punctuality. C is missing there. Okay, what else do we manage? Time. Then In the whole process, you have to manage yourself. Don't forget that. There are 110 things that you need to manage as a teacher. If you don't have those skills to manage, you are going to have a deficiency either in the personal life or in the professional life or in the social life. You can't lead a complete life. Animals lead a complete life. And we don't lead a complete life ಅಂದರೆ H1N1 ಕಾಯಿಲೆ, ಹಂದಿನೂ ಒಂದೇ ನಾನು ಒಂದೇ. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. What are the minor directions? In between, you have to have objective evaluation. Have you embraced the latest trends in objective evaluation? No. Delivery ಅಂತ ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ you need to be the master of pedagogy and andragogy. Because for 2 years, they are adolescents. For the next 2 years, suddenly they become adults. ಆ ಮೆಥಡು ಥರ್ಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಇಯರ್ಗೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ ನಾವು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. Then comes IT leverage, because today is technology. If you don't know how to leverage your technology for your classroom interaction, for your preparation, for your evaluation, for your whole aspect of different dimensions of your role as a teacher, you will be unattractive. People will lose interest in you. And then your conduct. How do you conduct yourself as a professional? Makes a huge difference. Last but not the least, if there is one profession in this world which has the compulsion of managing highest number of relations, it is a teacher's role. No matter which level you teach, no matter what you teach. You know how many relations a teacher has to manage? Any guess? 9 relations. 9 different types of relations. You have to manage a relationship with you well, which most of us neglect. You have to have decent relation with your family members. Otherwise, illindu smell alli barta irutte. Correct? You need to have great relation with your colleagues. Otherwise, every institution has politics today. The staff room politics is worse than the parliamentary politics. Am I correct? ನಾನು 20 ತಿಂಗಳು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಬಿಟ್ಟ ಮೇಲೆ ಮೇಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವರು. ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕಿತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮದು. ಸ್ಟಾಫ್ ರೂಮ್ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್. ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಕಂಡ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸರ್ ಅವ್ರ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ದುರ್ಯೋಧನ, ನೀನು ಅರ್ಜುನ, ಭೀಮ. We are not there to make friends, my dears. If we are working for a same institution, we are there to make great colleagues, not friends. Friends ಬೇಕಾ? ಲಾಲ್ಬಾಗ್ ಹೋಗಿ, ಕಬ್ಬನ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ, ಕ್ಲಬ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ, ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನನ್ನ ರೋಟ್ರಿ ಕ್ಲಬ್ಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ, ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್. ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಶಿಪ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿರೋದು ನಾವು. ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಕಲೀಗ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹೌ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ದೀಸ್ 8 dimensions ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್, excellence is a mirage. Now that we have understood all this, let us understand what are the challenges. I am not talking about the time, upskilling, etc., etc. Those challenges are their universal problem. The first and the foremost challenge is content mastery na, content delivery na. You need both, but you create an impact only when you deliver. ಈಗ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ನಾನೇನೋ ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಫ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಯು, ಇಫ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಎಂಗೇಜ್ ಯು, ಇಫ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇಂಟ್ರಿಗ್ಯೂ ಯು, ವಿಲ್ ಐ ಬಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್? ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಲೈಡು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಕತೆ. ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಅರ್ಥ ಐತೆ. ಐ ಕವರ್ಡ್ ದಿ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್. ಡಿಡ್ ದೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕವರ್ ದಿ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್? ಡಿಡ್ ದೇ ಅನ್ಕವರ್ ದಿ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್? ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್? ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಕೇರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಕಲಿಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡೋದಾ, ಕಲಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡೋದಾ? ಎರಡೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಸರ್. ಕಲಿಯುಗ ಇದು. ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಳಿಬೇಕು, ಎರಡೇ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ನು. ಕಲಿತವರು ಕಳಿಯಲ್ಲ, ಕಲಿತವರು ಕಲಿಯಲ್ಲ. ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎ ಗ್ರೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ದಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟ್ರೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ. ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋ ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಟು ದ engineering faculty members, with technical teachers per se. It is same thing even for degree students and also for medical and other streams, but I am more focused on this particular domain basically because I have some penetration there. There is no methodology based. Most of the FDPs that we attend, that we organize, are on the content. ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ಗೆ FDP ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಗ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸೆಪ್ರೇಟಾಗಿ ಸಮಿತ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮನಿ. Because content is freely available today. And most of the content is not created by us. Correct? Whatever we are teaching today is not created by us. It is created by somebody. Only how it has to be curated is something that we need to work on. Whereas this content is created by me. So we don't have training programs on methodology. The third challenge is pedagogy na andragogy na. ಅದೇನು ಅಂತ ನೋ 2 ವರ್ಷ ಪೆಡಗಾಜಿನೇ ಸರ್. ಹಾಂ, ಅವ್ರು ಅಡಲ್ಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ದೈಹಿಕವಾಗಿ ಅಡಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅವರು, ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗು ಪೆಡಗಾಜಿನೇ. ಟೀನೇಜ್ ಮುಗಿದ ಮೇಲೇ ಆಂಡ್ರಾಗಾಜಿ ಬರೋದು. ಸಡನ್ನಾಗಿ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವೇ ದೇ ಲರ್ನ್. ನಮಗೆರಡೂ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಡು ವಿ ಟೀಚ್ ದೆನ್? ವಿ ನೋ ವಾಟ್ ಟು ಟೀಚ್. We also have the willingness to teach, make an impact, but we don't know the methodology, how to teach. Then comes, we are not even aware of these three. How many types of students do we have? ಎಷ್ಟು ಥರ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ? ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಉತ್ತರಗಳು ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿರಲಿ. ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಸರ್? ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಸರ್, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು, ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಅ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ವೆನ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಶೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸಪ್ತಸಾಗರದ ಆಚೆಯಲ್ಲೂ. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಲಿಟರಲಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಅ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಹೋಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ರುಕ್ಮಿಣಿ ವಸಂತ್, ಮೀ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟಿವ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್, ಆಲ್ ಅದರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಸ್. ಹೀರೋ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್, ಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟ್ ರೈಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್, ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾಮನ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್, DOP ಅಂತೀವಿ, ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾಮನ್ ಅನ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೋಟೋಗ್ರಫಿ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್, ಆರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರು, ಇಡೀ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಸು. ಮತ್ತು ಯಾಕ್ರಿ 4 ವರ್ಷ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ? ಇಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಗೋಲ್ ವಾಸ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಆರ್ಟ್, ವೈ ಡಿಡ್ ಯು ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ 4 years? ದೇ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ 4 years ದೇರ್. And why did you snatch away the free seats of somebody? Makes sense, right? MBBS ಓದಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ IAS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಬರ್ದಂಗೆ. IAS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ನೀನು 5.5 ವರ್ಷ MBBS ಓದಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. MBBS ಓದೋದು ನೀನು ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋವಂಥ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಇಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಸೇರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ತುಂಬ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸುಳ್ಳು. ಜೀವನದ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ರಲೋಭನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಸೇರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅವರು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಟು ಬಿ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್, ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಇವನ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಸ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಸ್. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಸೊ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಡು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್? ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಪುಣ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಲು ಫೀಮೇಲು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವೈಸು 3 ಥರ ಅಂದರು. ಗುಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರೈಸೇಷನ್. ಬೇರೆ ಬಡವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಶ್ರೀಮಂತರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸರ್, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಸೈಕೋಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸು ಸರ್. ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದೇರ್ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಡಾಮಿನೆನ್ಸ್, ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 3 categories ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. That classification itself should be banned, in my opinion, because for everybody of that age group, the brain size is the same. The faculties of the brain are the same, unless they have a medical issue. Then why is that somebody is poor? ಯಾಕೆ ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? Shall I tell you, sir? No subject is easy, no subject is difficult, no subject is boring, no subject is interesting. It is a teacher who makes the difference. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ನಾನು B.Ed ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಹೋದಾಗ, ಸರ್ ಥರ್ಮೋಡೈನಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮಗೆ, ಏನು ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಏಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಏಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ? ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ? ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊ. ನೀನು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಎದ್ದು ಬಾರೋ, ನೀನು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಎದ್ದು ಬಾ, ಹಂಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಾ, ನೀನು ಯಾಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸಮಯ ತಗೊಂಡೆ? ಸಿ, ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ಸರ್. In terms of the brain dominance, we have only 3 categories of students. One is a left brain dominant student, second one is a right brain dominant student, third one is a no brain dominant student. In the left controls the right, right controls the left. In the left there is nothing right, and in the right there is nothing left. First ನಮ್ದು ಯಾವುದು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? MRI ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಒಂದು ಟೂಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೈಕೋಮೆಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟೂಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ Left always loves logic, formula, scheme, planning, numbers. Right always love visualization, imagination, feelings. Without knowing these dominant tendencies, how can we influence them? And there are some people who don't have any of the dominance. Samachitta, Krishnantara, SM Krishna alla, Darling Krishna alla. In terms of the learning styles, ಎಷ್ಟು ಥರ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸು? How do people learn? Again, you are referring to that. He is a slow learner, maybe because you are fast. Correct? Somebody is a very fast learner, maybe because you are slow. Correct? ಬೈಕ್ ಓಡಿಸೋವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್, ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿರೋನು ಬೇಗ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ನು ಬೇಗ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತಲೂ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ನಿಧಾನ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು. Am I sounding logical? Am I making sense? Am I wasting your time? Okay. In terms of the learning styles, there are 3 categories of students. Only 3 in the world. ಬೇರೆ ಇನ್ಯಾವ ಥರದ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಡಿ. Somebody is a slow learner, somebody is a gifted. ನಂಬಬೇಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು. ಆ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಏನು ಕಲಿಸಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು B.Ed ಓದುವಾಗ 97ನಲ್ಲಿ, ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ 60-year-old ವೆನ್ ಐ ಲರ್ನ್ಡ್. Now we are actually going to celebrate the centenary year. ಸತ್ ಮಲಗಿದೆ ಆ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಎಲ್ಲ. Today we talk about neuroplasticity. Today we have discovered that certain parts of the brain control certain functions of the brain. While brain is a hardware which most of us have equal proportion, it is a mind which makes a difference. Mind is a software. In terms of the styles of learning, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ, there are only 3 types of learners. Somebody is an auditory learner, somebody is a visual learner, somebody is a kinesthetic learner. In any population you take, more than 60% will be visual learners, around 25 to 30% will be auditory learners, around 10% will be kinesthetic learners. Who are visual learners? YouTube ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅಡುಗೆ ಮಾಡೋರು ವಿಜುವಲ್ ಲರ್ನರ್ಸ್. ಆಡಿಟರಿ ಲರ್ನರ್ಸು ಸೀರಿಯಲ್ಲು ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಹಾಲಲ್ಲಿ, ಇವರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡುಗೆ ಮನೇಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವೇನೋ ಬಡಪಾಯಿಗಳು ಗಂಡಸರು ಒಂದು IPL ಅದು ಇದು ನೋಡೋಣ ಅಂತ, ರೀ ನಾನು ಸೀರಿಯಲ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀನು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಲರ್ನ್ ಬೈ ಲಿಸನಿಂಗ್. And around 10% of the general population fall in the 3rd category. People learn by doing. These are the only styles of learners we have. ಉಳಿದಿರೋವೆಲ್ಲ ಸೂಪರ್ಫಿಷಿಯಲ್. ಡೀಪ್ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದರೆ ಇವೇ ಕಾಣಿಸೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ, ಯಾರ ಬ್ರೈನು ಯಾವ ಡಾಮಿನೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಯಾರು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಕಲಿತಾರೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ನಮ್ಮದು ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ವಾಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಲರ್ನರ್ ಆರ್ ಯು? We don't know. Shall I tell you the tragedy there? If I am a visual learner, I am also a visual teacher. I love to teach the way I want to learn. In the process, the auditory learner, kinesthetic learner will feel disconnected with me. That's when they say, this subject is boring, this teacher is boring, this subject is difficult, I am slow learner. ಬರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ. So an ideal teacher to excel must have all the 3 different styles to be accommodated. So what's the way forward? Please understand there are 6 different levels of learning. Please understand there are 3 different domains of learning. Please go for some methodology based training program. Besides the content, cone of experience, not just the years of experience. Master the cone of experience. Then understand the basic formula of curricular transaction and understand that there are different levels of teachers. How many types of teachers do we have? And that is in terms of learning style. In terms of what we do, we should be called by different names. I am just going to cover all that in the next part of. First and foremost, there are 3 domains of learning. First one is cognitive, second one is affective, third one is psychomotor. Without cognitive, it does not get into affective. Without cognitive and affective, it doesn't become psychomotor. ಸೈಕೋಮೋಟರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್, ದೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್, ದೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಕಾಗ್ನಿಟಿವ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗು, ದೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಒರಿಜಿನೇಟ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಇಟ್ ಫ್ಲೋಸ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಹಾರ್ಟ್. ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆನ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಅವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಸುಮಾರು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಏನೇನೋ, ಈಗ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೋ, ಕರೆದವ್ರಿಗಂತೂ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಂದವನಿಗಾದರೂ ಬೇಡವಾ? ಬಟ್ ಯಾರು ಎದ್ದೋಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. as good as that. We don't work on everything unless it is approved by the heart. Our thoughts flow through the heart, then become action. Anybody who has a symmetry, anybody who has a synchronization of the 3 H's, head, heart, hand, he is going to excel. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಒಂದು, ಭಾವಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದೇ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು, ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದೇ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು. ಇವರು ತುಂಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ವರ್ಕರ್ ರೀ. ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯಿತು? ನನಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯಿತು, ನಿಮಗೇನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ. ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ 6 different levels of learning. First one is knowledge. You only give information, convert that into knowledge. Second one is understanding. That's a different level. There are behavioral outcomes in each level, very clearly defined. Third one is what we call application. Fourth one is what we call skill. So knowledge, understanding, application ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಎಸ್ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್, ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಹಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ, ಹೈಯರ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ, ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸನ್ನು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ಪೆಡಗಾಜಿ, ಅಂಡ್ರಗಾಜಿ, ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಆಫ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಡಿಸೈನಿಂಗ್. ಈ 4 ಕಲಿದಿರಾ, ವಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್, ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮೈ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಡು ವಿ ಡೂ ದಟ್? ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆನ್ ಎ ಮಿಷನ್ ಟು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಇಡೀ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಥರದ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ focused programs where pedagogy also is addressed to some extent, to the extent they know. So we are coming up with this particular program. I am not marketing basically. I just want to, shout out to people here. Please talk to your managements. Yaar ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ program does not matter. Get yourself trained in methodology. And I am looking forward to some kind of advice, suggestion, collaboration with CES or CEED or Chanakya University to come up with this program, so that Karnataka becomes the first state to run a methodology based training program for technical teachers. There is a huge opportunity lying there, and this is the best way actually to influence the student community and bring down the presence of unemployability skills or the skill gap. Then understand the cone of learning, because this is called, what is called the cone of experience. Edgar Dale gave it almost half a century ago, more than half a century ago. Students would always love to move from concrete to abstract, known to unknown, simple to complex, example to theory. That's how wired we are. So when you actually give them experiences, please understand this very clearly. Ultimately, they also have to appear in an examination and pass, right? And what special training are we giving for exam preparation? Whole country. Syllabus cover ಮಾಡು, ಇಫ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡು. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ವೇನೆ ಚಾತುರ್ಮಾಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ದೆನ್ ಗಿವ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್, ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಸೇಮ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್, ಸೇಮ್ ಟೀಚರ್, ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೀಚರ್, ಸೇಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್, ಸೇಮ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ಸೇಮ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್. ವೈ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ? ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಆನ್ ಹೀಸ್ ಓನ್. ನಾವು ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ನಿಗೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ರಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಅವ್ನು ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಅವನು ಆಕೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಆಗಲಿ. So we are running a program called Exam Warrior for that, which focuses basically on tools, techniques, systems, strategies, habits and mindset to excel in any examination. We don't talk about the syllabus. We only talk about the psychology. IITಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಆತ್ಮಹತ್ಯೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣೊಬ್ಬ, IIT ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ 3ನೇ ಸೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಗ್ಗ ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ. ವಾಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್? ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಬಿ ವಿಶ್ವಗುರು? We remember only 10% of what we read. We remember 20% of what we hear. We remember 30% of what we see. Why? Because sarvendriyanam nayanam pradhanam. More than 50% of the neurons are actually connected to the cornea. ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಚಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಹೋಯ್ತಷ್ಟೇ. And in addition, Or in contrast, you also get better focus when you close your eyes. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೋಯಿತು. 50% ಆಫ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನು 50% ಜಾಗೃತವಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಿವಿ ಚುರುಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಚಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ. ವಿ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ 50% ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಸಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ 50% of what they see and what they hear simultaneously. They remember 70% of what we say. So give opportunity to your students to teach you. They tend to remember 70% and 90% of what we say and do. Give them opportunity to demonstrate, make a presentation and demonstrate. They remember, they are not going to lose that memory trace forever. So please embrace these models. And then the philosophy, basically. How do students learn? How many quadrants do we have? This is what is mentioned in Udyoga Parva of Mahabharata. And there is no better framework for curriculum construction and your teaching. Acharyat padamadatte padam shishyat swamedhaya sabrahmacharinabhyah padam kalakramenecha. Padam means quarter. Friday alva quarter beda, quadrant. The first quadrant of learning, 25% will come from Acharya. Who is an Acharya? I will define that in the next slide. You all should call yourself Acharyas. ನಿಮ್ದು ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಪಾಠಶಾಲೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇರಲಿ, ಆಚಾರ್ಯಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಆದರೂ ಇರಲಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಈಸ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ನೇಷನ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡರ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಅನ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ದಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್. Acharyat padamadatte, 25% will come from the teacher. The next 25% will come from Swamedhaya, own intellect. We all have our own intellect, unlike animals. So give opportunities for the students to use and embrace Swadhyaya. The third quadrant of learning will come from Sabrahmacharinabhyaha, the peer group. Therefore, project work. The last one will come Kalakramenacha, that is what is called experience-based learning. The whole world has embraced this only. The root of every curriculum construction theory is basically this shloka. Unfortunately, we are not aware of that. There are 6 different levels of teaching. If you are only giving information and knowledge, you are a adhyapaka. If you are creating understanding of those concepts, then you are a upadhyaya or upanyasaka. If you are developing deeper insights of any topic, then you are a pandita. If you are able to train your students to foresee what will happen 10 years down the lane, sitting here, then you are a dashtara. If you train the skills, you are an acharya. And if you are able to arouse in them the divine wisdom already hidden, then you are a guru. So ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದಯಮಾಡಿ ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಯಾವ ಸೋಪಾನದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯದ ಹಂತಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಬರಲೇಬೇಕು, ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಎನಿ ಟ್ರೈನರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಹಿ ಟ್ರೈನ್ಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೂ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ? ಯಹ ಯಾಚಯತಿ ಯಾಚಿನೋತಿ, ಯಹ ಆಚರತಿ ಆಚರಯತಿ, ಸಹ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಇತಿ ಕಶ್ಯತಿ. You should be a seeker first before being a giver, because you can't give what you don't have. You should be a who is a trainer, who is a teacher andre triple L ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿರಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಲೈಫ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಲರ್ನರ್. ಎವ್ರಿ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಡೇ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಎ ಲರ್ನರ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಈಸಿಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ವೇ ಟು ರಿಮೈನ್ ಯಂಗ್. ಕೀಪ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ, ಯು ಲುಕ್ ಯಂಗ್. ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಆನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕಾಸ್ಮೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಆನ್ ಕಾಸ್ಮಿಕ್, ನಾಟ್ ಆನ್ ಕಾಸ್ಮೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್. You need to be a seeker first, then a giver. You need to be a practitioner first, then a preacher. Only then you are an acharya, not otherwise. So excellence has 4 different dimensions: personal excellence, interpersonal excellence, professional excellence, and then teaching excellence. But unfortunately, most of us focus only on the 4th quadrant, which is actually the Prayagraj, culmination of the 3 rivers. Personal excellence is understanding what you are, who you are, why you are. What your personality type, your leanings, your feelings, your emotional state will have an indirect impact on the students' community, whether you like it or not. Have you understood who we are? Istu kala ottigiddu istu bereteru aritevenu navu namma Antaralava. I haven't understood myself in the whole life. And I am called a guru. What a tragedy. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳನ್ನು ಬೆಸೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹೇಗೆ, ಹೌ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿ ಅದರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಕಲೀಗ್, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್, ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್, ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್, ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, ವರ್ಕ್ ಆನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೈನಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಐ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ. ಫೈಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್. These are the 5 P's of excellence that you need to work on. Find your purpose first, find the passion, develop the pride. Automatically you will develop professionalism and your productivity will be at the highest level ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕಠಿಣವಾದ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಎತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. I have been able to disturb you, kick you out of your comfort zone, and if any one of you are offended for that, I am not the one to ask sorry ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಸರ್ವೇ ಜನ ಸುಜನಾ ಭವಂತು, ಸರ್ವೇ ಸುಜನಾ ಸುಖಿನೋ ಭವಂತು. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
Thank you, Dr. Raghavendra, for this very elaborate and extensive session on the DISHA model of teaching excellence. On behalf of the family of CEED, I request Professor G.P. Sudhakar to hand over a token of appreciation and gratitude to Dr. Raghavendra.